If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Rick. Thank you so much for joining me. When Steffi brought me your contact information and she started talking to me about like your history behind music and like how you ended up in Salem of all places, I was like, I have to talk to this dude. Because it's like one of those interesting, unique journeys that not a lot of people really fully appreciate or understand, right? Because the life of a musician is hard if you try, you know?
Yeah, it's really, really hard for sure.
So how did you get involved in music in the first place?
Well, when I was 11 years old, my mom bought me a bass guitar for my birthday. And my older brothers were already playing music. One played guitar, one played drums. And so they needed a bass player. And I got a $60 national bass from off the military base and started going.
So you say you got off the military base. Were your parents in the military?
Yeah, my dad was in the Air Force. He was a cardiologist, and he was chief of cardiology at Wilford Hall Medical Center. And when he retired, he was a general.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go with that, I'm sure, because, you know, I was enlisted in the military myself.
Uh-huh.
So you sacrifice a great deal of your life if you're in that kind of career.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And one of the easiest ways to keep your kids out of trouble, I think, is to get them into music.
Into music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah. So so when you picked up your first bass guitar, right? How was it along the way when you started? It's like, you know, I'm pretty good at this.
Let's see. I thought I had my shit together after like 5 years, and then 10 years later, I ended up going to, or not quite 10, more like 7 years later, I ended up going to music school, and then I found out all the shit I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
So my hand position was messed up. You're supposed to use the big C, and I had my thumb turned out, and I ended up getting arthritis in it. And it's taken me the rest of my life to try to correct that. And I still catch myself slipping into that. But, you know, my big thing was to work on spreading my philosophy through my music, because I have a minor in philosophy.
Yeah.
And so my major was music, my minor was philosophy, and man, the job potentials were just really high out there.
Do you remember the first band you were in?
I do. We played. Well, I didn't actually get to join the band. I got to play percussion with my brothers, and they played New Year's Eve party at the neighbor's house. And we must have done Whole Lot of Love for about 30 minutes. I think that was the only song my brothers knew.
For 30 minutes?
Yeah, it was cold out there. I played the bongos.
Yeah. But that's awesome that you play like just imagine because how old were you at the time?
I was probably 10.
Yeah, so 10 years old and a group of brothers playing Led Zeppelin on the back lawn, and that's epic.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I was, like 5 years younger than my oldest brother. So until I got to be 13, I played in a band with some of my peers from junior high. And so, by the time I was in 7th grade, we were playing the school dances in middle school.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was Randy Coltis, Tony Mendez, Rick Schechter on bass guitar, which my name now is Rick Rocks.
Yeah.
And I think that was about it.
And then, so when the transition, so like you're going up through school and you start like all of these 13-year-olds, right? So you're transitioning out of school. How do you stay attached to music outside of school?
So I started, playing in my brother's band at 13, and we rehearsed in our garage.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of noise complaints. So eventually the cops would just come and stand outside the door and listen. And then when we'd take a break, they'd knock and we'd open it up and they'd say, wow, you guys are getting better.
I
And
love
by the
that.
way, you don't have to turn down till 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that, Betty.
I love that. Because there's like, even now, like I'm in an apartment complex and there is somebody that is, I would say he's a good couple years into his drumming journey. And I can imagine a lot of the neighbors complaining. Like, I don't mind. Like, the guy's playing at 2:00 in the afternoon. I shouldn't even say guy. I don't even know if it's a guy or a girl, but whoever this person is, and since they've been practicing in the last 6 months, they've gotten a lot better.
Well, I give lessons,
Yeah.
all kinds.
Interesting.
So, if you meet them and bring it up.
Yeah.
So
How did you get into the teaching piece?
I am pretty good with words and explaining things.
Yeah.
And I just had I had people keep asking me to teach their kids how to play music because I was a mini monster.
Yeah.
And eventually I broke down and said, okay. So, yeah, we were playing the music machine this one night, and that's when I got my nickname. My brother Ted, we were doing this one song, and I had a little bass solo in it, and I got done, and he yells to the microphone, "That's Rick Rock's on bass guitar!" And after that, it just stuck. And we got done with that set, and I walked off, and I'm walking through the club, and there's this black dude sitting with another black dude, and they're like, "Hey, come here. I want to buy you a drink." And I'm like, "Okay." And the other guy's like, "You know who that is?" And I said, "No." "You don't know who that is?" I said, "No." "Does he know who I am?" "Well, no." "Well, that's Lenny Kravitz."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Oh, Lenny Kravitz is going to buy me a drink? Who the hell is that?"
Right.
This was way back in the
Yeah.
80s. And so he bought me a drink, and we hung out and talked, and he really liked my bass playing, and I was still wearing bell bottoms left over from the 70s, and people used to laugh at me, and I was wearing them that night at the music machine. And the next thing I know, 2 months later, Lenny Kravitz comes out with bell bottoms.
Oh, isn't that awesome?
Oh, yeah, he stole my style.
Yeah. Whatever. It's still epic in a way.
That I took from Nancy Sinatra.
Did you ever get a chance to play with him?
I did not get a chance to play with him.
And so, like, your name is Rick Rocks at that point.
Yeah.
And you're in the band. What was the band called?
In L.A., it was called Max Ernst.
Max Ernst.
He was a surrealistic artist. He was the first psychedelic artist.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
And so we picked that because we were a psychedelic band.
Yeah. And is there a certain way you have to play or a certain style you have to play if you're in a psychedelic band versus a non-psychedelic
High.
band?
Mostly high. High is really good.
Yeah.
When you're in a psychedelic band.
Yeah. Explain that a little bit more.
So when you use recreational marijuana or the such like that, your third eye opens up and you tune to everybody that you're playing with. So there is nothing that compares to when a band clicks and everybody's in the groove and you can feel it. It's just like an amazing, amazing feeling. It's the unity, all of it, the sound. It really makes a big difference.
And I always appreciate that about bands because and I talk about this ad nauseum on this podcast about how difficult it is to get 5 different people with 5 different unique mentalities, 5 different skill sets, 5 different views on music, but yet somehow you can get all of them on a stage and for an hour or 90 minutes
Now,
or
we
however.
only had 4 of us.
Yeah. But and getting 4 people in sync for a whole performance.
And then we took it down to 3 because that makes it really better. And you don't have to cut the check so far.
Yeah. So are you 3 now, a 3-piece now?
No. I was playing with some younger guys. They're all in their early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like the old man. And, you know, we play original music. And the problem is these guys, the younger generation, they don't really have a grip on what it takes to produce a show, you know, to get out there and get the gigs, you know, and it's really difficult to believe in yourself and say, yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
I don't care if that last song was terrible. The rest of them sounded great. We'll practice that one a few more times before the show.
Yeah.
And you just have to really go out there and, you know, stomp your feet, do the footwork, find out where it's possible for you to play and pursue it. And nowadays with the internet, it makes it easier, but at the same time more difficult because it's not as personable. You're not going up to meet somebody and handing them a promo package that you've spent all your blood, sweat, and tears on. And, you know, now it's all, oh, yeah, here, check out my website. Yep, this is us. It could be us. It could be Elvis. Who knows? It could be Elvis singing Led Zeppelin. I don't know. So it makes it easier, but it's more difficult because there's all these other people that are trying to get the same gig.
Yeah.
And, you know,
there's only so many places and only so many gigs available.
Yeah, there is, especially in this town. So
yeah, and we just lost another one. So it's like, ugh.
What did we lose?
The Infinity Room.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So one less venue. Like, ugh. It hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because it's so hard to even... It's this interesting, delicate balance I'm finding because, like, I'm talking to musicians about how it's difficult to find gigs, and the gigs you do find, they pay is what it is. Like, it's not enough to live off of.
No.
At the same time, with the venues, though, I look at their struggles and how it's impossible for them to stay open, too. And so it's like they're kind of in a catch-22 as well.
Yeah.
And it makes for a very interesting dynamic between venues and bands.
Yes,
because it's interesting because in a way the bands are competing for these venues and these venues are taking advantage of the competition and not adjusting prices because they don't have to. It's very interesting.
It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It needs this town and needs a lot more places to play.
Yeah.
And paying places to pay.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's all kinds of places if you want to volunteer your music.
Yeah, you know, over there with Chemeketa and Commercial, you can stand on the corner and play.
Yeah. Yeah, but
you know, but it's not like getting up in front of 4,000 people.
Yeah.
So I played the World Hemp Fest a few times.
Yeah.
And that gig is always a super blast.
And how many people are there?
Oh, yeah, probably 5,000-6,000.
See, that would be a blast.
Yeah, the first time I played in front of 4,000 was 1978.
Wow.
And we played Battle of the Bands for K-Meth and Kiss in San Antonio, Texas.
I love that.
And we came out second place.
That's awesome.
I got electrocuted. My brother we used to use these smoke pods.
Yeah.
And before the show, my middle brother had filled them up with gunpowder, and then our pyrotech went through and filled them up with gunpowder, and he didn't know, and so yeah, so we were using them, at the punch on our first song. We were doing, what was it called, The Jew and I, and it has this really cool intro. And the flash pods would go off, and our pyrotech, he hit the switch, and instead of the pods going off, all the electricity in the place went down.
Oh no! Oh,
And they had no idea that we had done it because the pods didn't go off. So it took them about 5 minutes to figure out how to get the power back on. They ended up rerouting it and all kinds of crazy stuff. But the electricity stayed on, and the pods were electrified. And so I stepped on one, and I got zapped really good.
ouch!
And then our pyrotech changed the smoke pods out for a different song. And then my brother was standing over one, and our pyrotech didn't check the stage to make sure everybody was clear. And he threw it in that song, and my brother went up in a cloud of smoke and singed all the hair under his arm, his hair on his head. Never missed a
Show must
note.
go on.
Never missed a note. Same thing when I got shocked. I didn't miss a note. But I was wearing, back then I used to wear crazy stuff like cut off coveralls or overalls.
Yeah.
And I'd cut them off into shorts, and I wouldn't wear a shirt and no shoes. And I was kind of, the country kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got shocked.
That's awesome.
No, I've been shocked many times.
But that's an awesome story. You know what I mean?
Is.
And
Yeah.
I love those stories, like especially through adversity, when you when the gig has something stacked against you, but you still sort of manage to outplay that gig and you come up top. And if you have the ability to sort of take that, control it, and still maintain control of the audience, that says something, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. We were pretty good, actually. In fact, one of my high school friends used to love seeing our band, and he played music, and I was talking to him about, 3 years ago, and they actually were covering some of our old material.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, he wanted to do Galaxy of Love.
Yeah.
And it was like, whew. I'm glad we had a singer, because that was a rough one.
So tell me through that, though, because you're one of those interesting folks that go down the path of original music versus music that's like cover tunes, if you will.
Yeah, we did all original music for a while. We did that. Of course, we learned with cover songs, and then we phased them out, started writing. We had this, like I said, we had this really good singer who was a choir boy, and biggest baby I ever played with, though. But he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And when King Kong came out, he wrote a song about it, and it was a really good song. Everybody really liked it. And then I don't know if you remember when Hotel California came out.
Yeah.
This guy, when it came out, by the end of the day, he could play it and sing it perfect. I was like, hey, man.
Some people just have that talent.
Yeah, he did. But if he was having a bad day and he would miss a note during a show, he would literally just walk off, get in his car, and drive away and not come back. So since I was the cutest one, my brother would kick me in the butt and tell me to go up there and sing.
Isn't that funny how sometimes we learn to sing because of situations like that?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't even know I could sing until I was forced into a situation very similar to that. And like, yeah, okay, maybe I can, but some people like they're so perfectionists that it gets kind of gets in the way of their ability to make and produce good music.
Yeah, well, I'm a concrete random. So you never know what I'm going to choose to be that has to be absolutely perfect. And music is actually one of them.
I get that.
My housekeeping, not so much.
Yeah.
My car, not so much. My music, it's got to be the way I want it, or we do it again.
But see that is the necessity for a good show. Like if you have a band that doesn't have that mentality, good luck getting that translated across when you're on stage.
Yeah.
Because you need to have that sort of mentality of like, I'm going to try my best to perfect this set. At the same time, though, you don't want to walk off the set and drive away.
No, that only happened a few times, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
It was like, if you're not going to be reliable and you're not going to stay, we can't deal with that.
Yeah, there's no reason.
No.
Yeah. It's bad for the singer's career, but it's also bad for the band, like in totality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it's like one of those things where you're vibing off of energy, and if you have one person slip away, or if you have one person that's like a half step too far behind, the whole show was just off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember one of the shows we did. It was Shep's Palace in, I want to say, right outside of San Antonio. It was like Divine or something like that, Texas.
Yeah.
And Shep was really cool. And his bar was an absolute dive. But he let us play there often. And we played all original music. And we had quite a crowd that would follow us. And this one night, we, again with the explosion pods, my brother had filled them. And he filled them too much. And
I'm sensing a theme here.
I don't know if you know much about them, but if you just use the cap, right, it does a whoosh and just smokes.
Yeah.
But if you put on a tube on it, it explodes like pow and sends up a mushroom cloud,
Okay.
And so we were, again, playing The Jew and I, beginning of our set. And our pyro guy hit the button, and my brother had overloaded them, and we used PVC tubes.
Oh.
And when they went off, all the PVC turned to shrapnel, sprayed us all. I held my Rickenbacker bass guitar up and hid behind it, and I let it take all the debris and never missed a note. But we blew a half dozen shingles, ceiling tiles out. Those acoustic ceiling tiles, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we blew those right out. Just boom, a whole bunch of stuff came down. The audience went crazy. And then on break, we went and we apologized to Shep, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. I've got stacks of those in the back. You can do that every time you play here." The audience went crazy. And I was like, no. No, we're not doing that.
I remember one of the wildest things I ever saw on stage was a Slipknot show. And it was in Rock am Ring. So it was in Europe. And one of the bandmates that was playing percussion, if you want to call it percussion, he was playing a beer keg with these two large sticks. And I'll never forget, like halfway through the song, like he stops abruptly,
pours him a drink.
and looks
Gets
at
a
the
mug out.
sticks, looks at the audience, shrugs his shoulders, throws his sticks back, and starts beating his head on the keg until like blood starts pouring from his
What?
face. And I'm like, is this intentional? Again, the band never stopped. Like, I just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was some wild, crazy stuff that I saw.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes during those live shows, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not down for a self-mutilation.
I'm not either.
This is my temple, and I try to take good care of it. Maybe. So I think the wildest. Well, I've seen a lot of shows. Never saw Slipknot, but I did see Cheap Tricks with what was that? Judas
Priest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was their
that's
first
quite
tour, the Victim of Changes tour, and they
That's
played
quite
with
the collection.
Cheap Trick, right? And so the drummer for Cheap Trick was doing his drum solo, and he throws his sticks out into the audience, and then he reaches down and picks up these sticks that are the size of baseball bats, and starts playing his drums with those.
That's so awesome.
I was like, wow, dude, he's gonna destroy that.
That is
It was
so
a good
cool.
show.
That is so cool. I love it when shows like that have the unexpected twists from the audience too.
Uh-huh.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it's one of the reasons I love to go to live shows.
Yeah, I love going
Yeah.
to live shows. I like playing live shows better than going, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I would be way too nervous. Like if I'm in this setting, I can talk to anybody.
Right.
You put more than 5 people in a room and want me on stage to sort of captivate an audience, I'm out. I let someone else do that.
Yeah, leave that job to me.
Yep.
I've been doing it for years.
Yeah. Because it takes a certain kind of individual to sort of hold the audience that way, right?
It does.
And
it takes a lot of energy.
And the communication too between the band members, and like always constant, like I want to say unspoken, but they're kind of unspoken sort of gestures, movements, pointing, all of these things that you don't necessarily see unless you're looking for them.
Right.
That lets you know that this band has worked together for a while, because like, oh, he's using this signal, he's doing that signal. They all mean something different, but yet totality, everybody on the stage understands exactly what's going on.
They do. So in 1980, I went, and my mom went too. We went to the British invasion, and I don't know why they called it that, because the bands were the Fabulous Thunderbirds, then ZZ Top, and then the Rolling Stones. And my mom went with us. And it was open seating, football arena, the whole gambit. And we're watching the bands, and the Fabulous Thunderbirds come on, and they pretty much got booed off. They were brand new, and they didn't sound, I mean, it's rough when you're on your first big tour, So then after that was ZZ Top. And ZZ Top, those guys were so tight. They never looked at each other once.
Wow.
And they nailed every break, every ending, and every beginning. Never looking at each other. They just knew what was supposed to happen. Whereas when the Stones came on, you sit there watching Keith Richards putting the ending together, the drummer's nodding, okay, the next time, yeah, okay, the bass player's like checking it out, all right, yeah, I'm down. And then, of course, Mick Jagger's got to hold the mic up, and yeah, boom, and they put it together as they're going along.
And there's no right way.
No.
Both shows are amazing.
And there's no wrong way.
Yeah. That's the beautiful part about music.
It was crazy because the Rolling Stones were really good.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't really know who they were. And we got done going to the show, and we're all in the car. And I asked my mom, hey, Mom, so what did you think about that last band? And she's like, well, I don't know who that singer was, but all I wanted to do was run up there and rape him. I was like, no, what the fuck? Mom, come on.
Oh, that's great.
That was crazy.
Oh, that's great. Uh-huh.
I died of laughter.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first show I ever went to was Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
I was forced to go because I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know that kind of music. I was protesting the whole way. I was so upset. Like, really, this is the band you're taking me to, Dad? Well, joke's on me. It was one of the best performances and best concerts to this day that I can remember. Just because of how well
of them, then.
in time. Well, back at that time, he was in complete control of the band.
Right, yeah.
Like complete and total control.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where, like, just the timing of it always stood out to me. It's like, okay, this is different.
When I moved up here, I worked for Cascade Sound.
Yeah.
And Larry over there used to work for Paul Revere and the Raiders. So I think they bought their A7s or something like that, their speaker cabinets.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Man. I never saw the Paul Revere and the Raiders, but I did see Prince, Purple Rain Tour.
That must have been epic.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The only problem was after each song, he would go and change costumes. So he'd be gone for 10 minutes while he's changing, and the band's just up there noodling about, doing, whatever.
Are they playing while he's changing at least?
They're playing some, they're goofing off, but they're just goofing off until he comes back out. And then the other thing that I thought was really crazy at that show was the fact that he got out there and he did some Christian preaching.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, I'm not here to go to church. What the? And then a little bit later, he comes out and plays Nikki. It's like, well, what's the deal? I mean, if you've ever heard Nikki, it's like, and it was only like 2 songs after that. I was like, whoa. He's got his shirt off. He's got a Strat wired with a tube in the back. He's sitting on top of the PA, and he's playing his guitar solo and, going, woo, woo, beating his neck off, and at about the 5th time, all of a sudden, all this spew comes out the headstock of the guitar, and he just sprays the audience. Thank God I wasn't that close.
I don't know how I would take that.
Yeah, right after being preached to. It was like, oh, man.
Oh, that dichotomy.
Bipolar.
But one of the things I did want to talk to you about, though, is one of the things that I love talking to all musicians about is the muse.
Is the what?
The muse. So I really do believe that the muse is like a living, breathing thing. And we never know when the muse is going to show up. We never know when that riff is going to come in the back of our mind that's like, oh, this is going to be a good song. So what happens to you when the muse visits you?
So I normally try to jot it down or sing it into my phone. So that way I can come back and reorganize it or, work on it.
Yeah.
And the band I was playing with, I had that exact thing. I had a little ditty in my phone that I had sung in there, and a guitar player that I play with he's really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Levi. Yeah, Levi. Anyway, so I told him, hey, I wrote this, and it's kind of like a question and answer thing where you're going to play a part of the line, and then I'm going to answer it with my bass, and in music, that's called a hocket, where one instrument takes over from the other.
Yeah. So,
we started working out this thing, and before we know it, this thing was just a rocker. So, yeah. The hardest thing, though, is to write the words down when you're driving. That's really bad.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
That's when you got to have a scribe or a girlfriend or both.
Say, hey, write this down.
Write this down, yeah.
Because there's no guarantee after the moment that you're going to remember exactly what was going on.
No. And also, when you do a melody line at the same time as the words, it makes it even more difficult because you have to try to remember both.
Right.
So, cell phones are pretty cool that way. I just hit record, sing into it, come back, review it, and
Do
make
you
it
ever
into
like
something.
is there a software that you recommend over others in terms of like recording into it?
Um, you know, in the beginning, when MP3s first started,
Mm-hmm.
I was asked by the Statesman Journal to do an interview about MP3s, and I didn't even know what the hell it was at first. So the interviewer sent me a link to go check it out, and I did, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's what's up." And so I turned some of my songs into MP3s and uploaded them to a little website back then called Napster, and I put probably about 5 songs on that thing. And after a month, we had a #1 hit in progressive rock in the nation, in the world, you
Yeah.
know. And
Which song was that?
it was Cannabis Highway.
Ah, I love it.
I
Uh-huh.
wrote that song. We were asked to play the World Hemp Fest down at Condi's place in Harrisburg. And we didn't have any weed songs.
Yeah.
So I wrote a couple real quick. And one of them was Cannabis Highway. And it ended up being a #1 hit on Napster. And then I wrote the music. I'm playing guitar at this point, and the bass player, he never got to sing. So he was bitching about that. And so I was like, all right, Eric, you want to sing a song? Let's write a pot song for the Hemp Fest. Get ready. This is how it's going to go. And I played this little reggae groove, and he started writing lines. And after he got done with every line, I'd give him a bong hit. You want another bong hit? Yeah, write another line. So, after about 20 minutes, he was really high, and we had a reggae song that was #3 on Napster, and Sublime was #6 that month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really good song. It was called Cannabis Unanimous.
I love it. I love it. Uh-huh.
They used to be online, and you could listen to them, but I sent my material to CD Baby, and they took control over my music, all of it.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said. And they took off a bunch of my videos and a whole bunch of that. Like, I sent them my first CD.
Yeah.
And so they're distributing it and then I sent them my second CD. And so then on my third CD, I didn't send it to them. I was just putting videos of it out there.
Yeah.
Because we played the World Hemp Fest. So we had a guy videotape us. And
Yeah.
so we had put that on. And since they didn't have any way to distribute that, they pulled it off of YouTube. And
Did they say like they had the licensing rights to it?
no. And in fact, have you ever tried to call CD Baby?
No.
Don't bother. So no one answers the phone. If you don't call like right at 8 o'clock, chances are you won't get anybody. I came in from New York one time, and I'd been trying to get a hold of CD Baby, and I found out their new office was right there by the airport. So I asked my friend to let's go by CD Baby. I need to talk to them and bitch.
Yeah.
And so we did, and I pounded on the door and pounded on the door and pounded on the door, And finally, a gentleman came to the door and said, "Hey, man, we don't have an open door policy. You need to call in." And I said, "Hey, man, I've been trying to call in for a week."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, keep trying." I'm like, "Hey, I'm here. It's right now. You're here. Let's take care of my stuff." "Oh, no, sorry. I have to do phone duty right now. I can't dedicate that time to you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to the car and I'm calling you." Of course, I couldn't reach anybody, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to do some research. I'm curious if they're still a business.
They are.
Okay.
And, I they have my music, my CDs, and I don't see any royalties, and I'm a little bit pissy about it because
I would be too.
when K-Muse opened up,
Yeah.
I was a disc jockey when it first started,
Yeah.
and so I have this beautiful contemporary piano piece at the beginning of my first CD. It's called The Morning Song, and I wrote it for my aunt. She loves music boxes, and so I wrote this little melody that would fit in a music box. It was short enough and interesting enough that you wouldn't get bored with it. But I used to play that for the opening of my show every week. Every week. And I would list it, put it down there. Okay, these are the songs I played. This is blah, blah, blah. Turn them into ASCAP, blah, blah, blah. Never saw a penny. So
Is there a way to research and see if there's actually, did they turn it into ASCAP?
oh yeah, they have to. So they turn them into ASCAP, but for some weird reason, my brother actually has the name of my label, and the name for my production company is, I don't know, because I guess it's Sensor Blast Productions, because it was Poto Music, but my brother, I don't know what happened. He kind of, all of a sudden, he had Poto Music, and I wasn't getting any royalties. So maybe he's been getting my money, but he swears he's not. It doesn't matter. I don't do it for the money because
Yeah.
that's
Just, I get that. Like, the reason I don't do this podcast for the money either, right? I just want to have cool conversations like this because, no one else is having them.
right.
Yeah. Like at some point we stopped interviewing musicians about the music. Like everybody cares about what relationship you're in, who you're dating, what clothes you're
What's a
wearing. Right?
relationship?
Yeah. And it's like, can we just take a step back
You're
and
talking
talk
about
about
the rhythm section,
music?
right?
Right. Right. It needs to be. It needs to be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because like that's a huge missing piece, right? And I also believe that unless you talk to musicians about music and the realities of music, it's harder to get the newer generations invested, and we need more younger musicians out there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm starting to see more and more young people sort of get back into the music of it, but it's
So back in the day,
yeah.
for hobbies and stuff people did when they weren't working, eating or shitting, sleeping, is the number one thing was playing music.
Yeah.
Number two was photography. Number three was fish, aquariums.
Okay.
So those are the hobbies that top the charts.
Yeah, and I'm not fishing.
Yeah. Well, I've done all of them. And in fact, I was part of the Breeders Club in Portland.
Yeah.
And I was the first one in North America, to breed a Congo tetra in captivity.
Interesting. That's awesome.
Well, that was such a pain in the ass.
Because the conditions have to be kind of perfect for that, right?
It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Congo tetras they're beautiful, but they're difficult to breed.
Yeah.
So
because they're kind of finicky.
They're finicky. Everything has to be just right. And then as soon as they spread their eggs, you got to take the grown-ups out. And you have to set up a special tank for the eggs, and it's a huge ordeal.
And one of the things that you talked about earlier as we got into our conversation is that you went down this path of training people in the areas of music.
Yes.
What would you say to people who are interested in learning more about music or wanting to have like a teacher in music? What would you say to folks?
I would say you're never too old to start. And Brahms didn't write his first piece of music till he was 40.
Yeah.
So, get with it. That's why he only wrote 3 symphonies, and he never finished the third one, which is my favorite one. But, you're never too old to learn to play music.
And do you suggest people start with one particular instrument over the other?
Yes.
And what would that be?
What I would do is learn the piano, because the piano is the master instrument. So you can play the bass line with your left hand. You can play the rhythm with your right hand. And then you can play the melody with both of them, depending on where it's at. So it being the master instrument, you would learn both treble clef, bass clef, chord progressions, etc., etc. And when I teach music, I always make everybody learn theory. So that way they know how to talk to other musicians, because I just love it when, you're playing with some people and you have somebody who thinks they have a decent music vocabulary, and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, there's too much rubato going on in here. Can we take some of that out? Huh? What's that? Rubato? It's like, oh, yeah, you know how we slow down and speed up and slow down and speed up? Well, that's rubato, kind of following the vocalist or the soloist, and you do rubato to match what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's very expressive. So then again, like the word retardando, you get to the end of a song and retardando. And they're always, retardation? What are you talking about? I'm like, no, man, retardando. It's Italian for slow down.
And that's the premise of like when you're reaching the crescendo of the song, that you also want to slow down the actual count or time signature,
right? That's
let the audience know that you're wrapping up, right?
Yes, there's multiple ways to display that. So the retardando, the crescendo, and then of course the final clue that the song is coming to an end is when the band does a cadential form, like 5-1, and boom, you got to the end.
Yeah.
So shortest song, going from your 1 chord to your 5 chord back to your 1. It goes someplace, it says something, and then it has a cadence at the end. So
I appreciate that. One of the things that I love musically is whenever you have bands that play with time signatures.
Oh, yeah.
Because it threw me for the loop the first time I heard a time progression of 4/2.
4/2?
Yeah. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3,
no,
4,
that's
5,
not
6.
4/2.
Okay, see, this is where I need help because I don't know the language.
What 4/2? Right? I'm gonna teach you right now.
I appreciate it.
4/2.
Yeah.
Right. The 4 represents how many beats are in the measure. So the number on top is how many beats are going to be in each measure, and the number on the bottom, the 2, tells you what type of note gets the beat. So if it's 4/2, there are 4 beats, and the half note is getting the count.
Okay.
So when you get to 6/8, there are 6 beats to the measure, and the 8th note is getting the count. So when you get to like, let's take Money, for instance, by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
So that beginning part is in 7, and then it goes to like 6,
Uh-huh.
and then back to 7.
Yeah.
So it's really detrimental that the bass player and the drummer click on that. Otherwise, train wreck.
Yeah. And how do you keep track of all that?
By counting. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1. That type of tripper.
Yep. And that's like when I hear it, I'm amazed and I can follow it, but I don't know if I could ever come up with that on my own.
You just have to feel it.
Yeah, that's so wild to me.
So I have this one song of mine that I didn't realize I was playing in an odd time.
Yeah.
And it's on my first CD. It's called Indecisions. And I had a friend of mine from college. I didn't know he was living in LA when I had moved out there. And he found me. And I was like, hey, man, I'm working on my album. You want to play on it? He's all like, you know I do. No, Jim Abel, yeah. Shout out to Jim. So anyway, so he comes over. You know, I don't know if you know anything about this school I went to.
No.
It used to be called North Texas State University.
Okay.
And then they changed it to UNT when they bought the women's nursing school in the same town.
Okay.
And so then they just changed everything to UNT, University of North Texas. But when I was going there, it was North Texas State University. And you had to pass what was called a theory proficiency exam.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. And you had to pass a piano barrier. Well, the theory proficiency exam was where you drop all the slackers. If you can't pass that, you didn't get a music degree. And only 1/10 of the students would pass it.
Okay.
So there was a lot of grumbly parents calling the dean, wanting him to get rid of that. And he refused until they started calling the governor. And I don't remember who it was at the time, but enough parents called and complained to the governor's office that the governor called the dean of the music school and told him they had to get rid of the TPE because nobody could pass it. I passed it. It took me 3 tries, but I passed it. I got my degree.
That's so interesting though, because like instead of evaluating like the gaps and evaluating like what's the issue, because there's a level standard there.
Yes.
They're like, well, let's just eliminate the standard. But then doesn't that sort of diminish the level of musicians graduating the program?
Yes.
Interesting.
It did. So
Almost kind of sounds like, how does that terminology go? To cut off your nose and spite your face?
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. That's wild.
So there was multiple parts to this thing, and part of it was sight singing.
Yeah.
And then a dictation, rhythm, notes, melody, and then ear training. So you would have your theory teacher would give you a pitch that you didn't know what it was. He'd play it on the piano. Bing. Okay, now what key is that? All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this little melody and everybody write it down. And you have to get it within like 20%.
All of the notes within a series?
Within the melody, yeah.
Within the melody. That's
yeah.
wild.
You have to get the timing, the
notes,
the notes, pitch. The pitch, right?
Wow.
All of it. So basically, music is 3 maths put together. It makes it very complicated.
Yeah.
So you've got your timing, you have your your harmonic progression,
Yeah.
and then you have your actual, the melody, the time signature, the key you're in. There's three masks that they just cram together, and so you have to be on top of this.
Yeah. But in a way, it's like you kind of need that to be a professional musician.
Yeah,
Because, like,
and
if
a
you don't
1,000-hour
have
of
that,
practice time.
yeah.
You don't become a master until you have 1,000 hours on your instrument practicing.
And even then, like, I remember interviewing a couple of people, like, even after that 1,000 hours, then they hit, I don't want to say a wall, but they hit this.
We call it a plateau.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. They hit this plateau, but
I've
then
done it many times.
then they like hear something else or they see something else like, oh wait, I can attain that next level. And so it took them like twice as many hours until they got there. But at the same time, they're just as proficient now. So it's like one of those things where I want people to appreciate that music is a spectrum. And so if you pick up a guitar and you don't get it right the first 3 times you practice, please don't be hard on yourself and quit. That's not enough time.
Yeah, that's kind of like what my kid did.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I got him up. He used to fall asleep listening to my band downstairs in my basement on the couch. This kid could sleep through anything. And he got used to sleeping through loud rock and roll.
Yeah.
And when he turned 5, I was like, okay, let's get you a guitar. So my brother was working at Sam Ash in New York. And so we went to Sam Ash and I played every mini guitar in the store until I found one that the action was okay. It tuned up okay, the whole shabeel. So I got my kid that for Christmas. And when we got back home to Oregon here, the band started practicing. Well, he wanted to play his guitar with the band.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, sure, you're 5. Okay. So he gets on the guitar, and of course, he thinks that he's going to sound like me right off the bat.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize I've got thousands and thousands of hours practicing. And when the pick didn't go across the strings right, and his fingers didn't land on the right strings to make the right chords, and he gave up. I mean,
Yeah.
So many people do because it's not easy.
No, it's not. Yeah. Even if just as a vocalist.
Vocals is the hardest instrument to learn.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Because you have, I can't remember the actual numbers, like 500 muscles or something outrageous in your throat and mouth.
How interesting.
That
Okay.
you have to control to make the sound come out the way you want.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so difficult.
And trying to keep, for me, it always was memorizing the words. That was the hardest thing. And then also, without the rest of the band together. So like if it's just the guitar and the drummer, for example, I would always struggle without the added piece with the bass in there too. And so I kind of also needed like all of those pieces for my brain to organize everything. And I just could never master it. So kudos to anybody who gets on stage and can just sing and just play music. It's an art form.
It is an art form. It's one of the best ones. And it's called the universal language for a reason. And the digital world's trying to steal that from the music world.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, oh no, the new universal language is 1s and 0s. Fuck that, man. No. Music. Because phenomenology applies with music. And I don't know if you know what phenomenology is, but
no, but let's tell the audience for those who may not know.
So phenomenology is the latest philosophy that I studied in school, and what it pertains to is why does everybody feel and see and think the same thing when they listen or they look at a certain picture or piece of music or whatever. So if you take a picture of a person standing around a 55-gallon barrel with fire coming out of it and he's holding his hands over it, you're going to think the exact same thing that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Which the person in China is going to think the exact same thing we're thinking. Well, the person in Russia is going to think the exact same thing we're thinking. The penguins, maybe not so much. But that's phenomenology.
Yeah.
So with music, I can make you laugh. I can make you cry. You, through the whole universe.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the universal language. You don't have to understand the words. But when Joe Cocker's up there screaming his heart out, you feel it, no matter what language he's singing it in.
Yeah. I feel that in so many ways. Because, like, it depends on... So, like, I have certain artists that I listen to depending on the mood I'm in. Because the way their music was constructed, it just fits that mood. And it complements and it helps me with my autistic brain process what's going through and what's going on. And one of the things that music has been a life changer for me is it allows me to convey messages too. Because sometimes I get hard. It's hard to convey what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking or what I'm going through. But I can always pick up the perfect song that explains exactly what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling because somebody else has been able to communicate that through musicality and lyrics and totality.
So you're playing the radio, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought maybe you actually were playing and singing, or
I'm not that good. I could never.
I give lessons.
Yeah, I know. It's more
I've
of
made
a timing
quite a few
thing,
monsters.
right? It's more of a timing thing, right? I'm over obsessive, and so whatever I'm going to attach myself to requires at least 4 hours a week. Otherwise, I won't commit to it.
No, man. If you're learning how to play music, minimum's 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So after I got out of college, I did a hell of a lot of partying in college, but I did not get to apply what I was taught.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy at night partying. And so when I got out, my brother came to San Antonio and dragged me out to LA to put a band together with him. And I spent 10 to 15 hours every day practicing.
Yeah.
And I managed to master all the information they had stuck in my brain. So when you're like, oh, hey, what's a Neapolitan second? Oh, well, it's a flat two. So you can take the flat two and take it down to one. Things have to work a certain way.
Yeah. Well, we've been at this over an hour already.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, cool.
This has been a lot of fun. How can people find your music?
They can go on YouTube and type in, here's another screwed up thing, because when I started putting my music on YouTube, I didn't realize that when they asked for the name, I put my name.
Yeah.
And I used an old nickname of mine, and it's the Sheck.
Okay.
Because the way I used to dance in college, this buddy of mine, shout out to Davy Jones, gave me that name. I would kind of Sheck all over the place, and so he would call me the Sheck. So I got that nickname before Rick Rocks, and then I put Electric Secretary because that was the name of the band. So you would have to look for the Sheck Electric Secretary, and the Sheck is spelled TheSczyk.
Oh, that's awesome. And I'll put a link and all that stuff to the chat too when we post this too, so people can find you.
Yeah, right on. So the Berlin song, The Berlin Wall, is a song that was really popular of mine. In fact, I submitted it to Atlantic,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going for a P&D deal, and I made it to New York, and they called me up, and they said, "Hey, we want to talk to you." And I said, "What?" They said, "We really like that song, The Berlin Wall. You did a really good job on it, and we want to know what you want to do." And I said, "Well, I want a P&D deal." And
Yeah.
they said, "Okay, we understand that. How many bands do you have on your label?" And I said, "One, mine."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we can't do a P&D deal with just one band on your label. Go put 5 on there and come back."
Yeah.
So I got my girlfriend pregnant and moved up to Oregon.
And then opportunity passed by.
Well, for now, I guess so.
Yeah.
And then CD Baby kind of,
Jacked everything up.
jacked everything off.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but the Berlin Wall, I wrote it, of course, when the Berlin Wall got torn down back in
Yeah.
'89. And it's a really cool song. I play everything on it but the drums.
Okay.
So I play the bass, I play the keyboard bass. It's got this really funky bass line that I wrote. And then I had picked up a mandolin and I play the psychedelic mandolin part on it. And then I have a keyboard for the rhythm, and I sing 2 sets of vocals on it, and it actually kicks ass. Everybody loves it. In fact, I gave a friend of mine a copy of it, and he took it home on spring break, and he had a little sister that was like 4 years old, and he had been playing that song, and the next day she was walking around the house singing it.
That's awesome.
They tore down the Berlin Wall today. People gathered the stones and mailed them away.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it was pretty cool.
I love that.
I had just got finished recording it, and one of my friends was the girlfriend for the producer for Bad English.
Yeah.
And she had to have the first copy. And she didn't care that I hadn't finished mastering it or anything, but she was willing to give me $10. This is back in '89. $10 for one song on a cassette. I was like,
How do you say no to that?
I said, show me the money. So, yeah.
Well, Rick, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And if you get a chance, check out Rick Rocks. And I'll run the show like I always end the show, folks. Be kind. We share the same air. We rely on each other. And the world is just a better place if we're kind to each other. Rick, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great being here.